Hello and welcome to Meldon Law and Friends, a service of Meldon Law, a statewide law firm with its primary office in Gainesville, Florida, and also with offices in South Florida, covering the entire Tri-County area of Miami-Dade through Broward County, all the way up through Palm Beach County. We also, for 45 years, have been practicing and have an office in Ocala in Marion County, Florida. And I'm very happy to have both Meldons with me today, Jeffrey Meldon, Carey Meldon. Guys, another great show ahead of us.
Yeah, I'm really excited. We've got a great guest today. And wow, what a week we have coming up this weekend.
Well, today, of course, is Friday, the 19th of February, and we are going live at 1 p.m. 2 hours from now is going to be the first baseball game of the year at our brand new stadium, the first of our triple header against the Miami Hurricanes. And we still have tickets left for our giveaway. That is tomorrow night, or tomorrow afternoon, I should say.
At 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then the Sunday game at 1 p.m. We've got 4 tickets we're giving away to the Saturday game, 2 tickets to the Sunday game, and a gift certificate to the Cheesecake Factory both days, correct?
Yes, it's a $100 gift certificate for Saturday. And a $50 gift certificate for the 2 tickets on Sunday.
So there still is time today to register for these ticket giveaways. We've had tremendous response. This is a Facebook-only promotion, right, Carey? This is only on Facebook.
Correct.
Yeah.
You got to go to our Facebook page, and Chris will tell you how to get there, the easiest way to get there. And then you have to register by doing what, Chris?
Well, you simply go to the Meldon Law Facebook page, just like it sounds. You'll see a link right there on our page to the contest for baseball. And actually, going forward, I think we've decided is that all the baseball, all the softball promotions will be Facebook only, whereas we're going to continue promotions for the other sports, which will include volleyball, of course, women's gymnastics, and other things in the spring. Those will be on the Meldon Law Facebook page, right?
No, meldonlaw.com.
Oh, meldonlaw.com. I'm not even getting it right, but anyway. Thankfully, I've got these guys correcting me. Anyway, so yes, that will be on the Meldon Law Facebook page for volleyball and gymnastics, meldonlaw.com.
Meldonlaw.com, not our Facebook page.
There you go.
Okay.
Anyhow, and we are, of course, the only official law firm sponsor of the Florida Gators. Did I get that right?
Not quite. We're the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators.
Okay, I'll eventually. I keep messing it up just so he can say it, you know?
Correct. Correct.
Anyway, let's get to our great guest, a guy that is an extraordinarily well-known, successful entrepreneur, somebody I know that you're very familiar with, Jeffrey, Mr. Mitch Glaeser. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, Mitch, I think we met a while ago when you were doing telephone book.
That's correct. Yeah.
Promotion. You had a company at the time.
Yeah.
Was that the Mega Book or was that before that?
Well, actually, it was 2 iterations of independent phone books. One was called the Source Book, which was owned by the New York Times Company, and we did that for about 7 or 8 years. And then I actually they ended up selling, and very shortly thereafter, I did 3 years of motivational speaking around the world. And so I actually hold the sales record at New York Times Company in ad sales in a given year. And so that was kind of my claim to fame, along with my eclectic background of my family and the upbringing of being one of 81 kids and that kind of thing. So
one of 81 kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that. That's a good hook there.
Yeah, I use it a lot, partly because I like to give a lot of credence to my upbringing in the fact that my parents were very special. Actually, I lost my dad about a month ago, 4 weeks ago yesterday. So
how old was he?
He was 88 and a half. And I like saying the half because it's so much closer to 90. But anyways, he was a remarkable man. My mother's still alive and with us, and she's doing fantastic. We're all doing great. But no, my dad was stationed at MacDill Air Force Base. My mom was born and raised in Zephyr Hills, Florida. And they met actually at a wedding and ended up getting married and coming to Gainesville after my dad served 8 years during the Korean War and so forth down at MacDill in Tampa. Came here to go to college. 36 months after they were married, they were a family of 5. So that was the end of the college career for my dad for a while. Ended up that he was a police officer and then went into real estate. My mother had to wait 5 years before she could have kids again, had me, and then unfortunately, due to medical issues, she couldn't have any more kids. So being the fact that they wanted a large family, they took in 76 foster kids.
Wow.
And actually adopted one, my sister Teresa, who actually helps us own and operate Logo Kick out in Tower Center where Home Depot is on Tower Road. So anyways, that's the 81 kid story.
No, so the first 5, were those foster kids? Or they were biological?
Yeah, the first 4 were Chris, Mark, Greg, and then myself, and then Teresa adopted as the 5, and then 76 foster kids. So I'm biologically born to my parents.
Okay.
And then 76 foster kids. So I was raised in a foster family, but I'm not a foster child per se.
Okay.
Right.
But they treated us all the same. So you would have never actually known.
So how did that I mean, they already have 5 kids?
Yeah.
And then they're going, oh, that's not enough?
Pretty much.
And then how did they get into the foster
So they just got
child?
more information about it, and next thing you know, I mean, they actually started the Foster Parent Association in the state of Florida, Foster Parent Association of Blatcher County. So they're very, very giving, very philanthropic, civic-minded. I think that's been a driving force behind some of the things that I've been involved with. I've been on probably 25 different boards and been president or chaired the boards of about 20 of them. And so, I started very, very young and early doing that. I actually was in my real estate schooling when I was 17 years old. Had to wait. As soon as I turned 18, I took the test. And so real estate has been, somewhat the underpinnings of a lot of things I've done. So that's kind of brought us full circle back to where I am today. Even though I've started more than 10 companies, real estate still is at the heart of kind of what I do. And actually San Francisco Tech City, which I'm working very diligently on now, is a large part of that really excitement of what I do with in creating something very special.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. The city of Alachua started a tech center many, many years ago.
Sure.
I think it was called Progress Center.
Progress Park. Yeah.
Progress Park.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how is that done, and how does Tech City and what you're doing fit into that?
So Rich Glaeser's my business partner on San Francisco Tech City, and he had Infinite Energy. He's also Gainesville raised, and so we have a real passion for this area, and this is where our roots are, this is where our families are, and a tremendous amount of passion. He's also an entrepreneur, much like myself, and so we had this strategic alignment to bring something that was very unique and different to our area. So we're, to take a little bit of a step back, I was actually doing a podcast myself called Startup Talks with a lot of the startup companies 3 and 4 years ago. And so I learned a lot. And Tech City really isn't about what we believe should have been done, but it's a lot of listening. And so that listening really has morphed and kind of gelled what is being built out there today. So we felt like, hey, Gainesville's doing a phenomenal job with Innovation District, Innovation Hub, all the innovation components that are going on. So we didn't want to focus on that at all. In fact, we were very, very diligent in what we have done. We've stayed away from innovation. So innovation is that creation of the product or the service or some patented technology or life-changing kinds of things, which the Sid Martin Biotech Incubator has been doing in the Progress Park as an example. But we're only focused on entrepreneurship, and they're very different. Innovation is significantly different than entrepreneurship.
Could you explain the difference?
Sure. So it's like explaining the difference between baseball and football, right? They're both sports. They're both athletic. You would think that a lot of emerging sports stars could do both, right? But the reality is you have skill sets that fit one or the other. Okay. So I'll give you a good example. I've started more than 10 companies. I'm an entrepreneur, but I've never created a single thing in my life. Okay. So, it's really about taking the product to market. So you have this mad scientist, I'll call it. That's just a generic term for the innovation side. But the reality is people are very, very good at creating technologies or differences, or they have visions of doing things in a different way. They'll look at a light bulb and say, well, I could make the light bulb different or better or more energy efficient or whatever. That's different than entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is where I take that technology or that light bulb and I'll take it to market. Okay. Or if I say, hey, Carey, let's start a watch company. Say, great. So we put our watches in a showcase and we start selling watches. But we didn't invent the watch. And so if you come to Tech City, we have the Museum of Entrepreneurship. And actually in there, we have a ginormous, huge, old early 1900 farm tractor. And we talk about agriculture and how the innovations have changed over time, but the entrepreneur used these different products. I have a Model T car in my office. And so we teach young people. We've had over 1,000 high schoolers come through, our pre-COVID actually, and learn that Henry Ford did not invent the automobile, right? He is an entrepreneur. He's not an inventor. He's not on the invention side. And so,
I mean, from what I remember, Mitch, Henry Ford was famous for creating mass production and the assembly line.
Yep.
And he brought the automobile to the average worker.
Yep.
And that he was delivering Fords at a price where the factory worker could afford it. As a matter of fact, everybody that worked at Ford was supposed to drive a Ford to work, right?
So we have a lot of products in there that are like that. So we show automation with Coca-Cola, or we show telecommunications with a phone booth, or we show a 1984 original out-of-the-box Macintosh computer. So we showed like the kind of the setting, if you will, the early stages of entrepreneurship that brings these innovations to market. And so we're squarely focused, and the companies that are coming out there, I mean, a lot of companies are starting to really emerge and grow out there, is really about taking their products to market.
Okay.
So now, do the companies that are going to be coming out there, do they have to be tech companies?
No, actually not. So we have the 82-acre development is 270,000 square feet of tech space. It's 252 homes. It's a preschool that's already there. It's a sustainable preschool licensed for 123 kids.
Oh, that's great for people that work there.
Of course,
can just have their kids there and hang out.
We just signed
Live, work, play, as I seem to say.
Yeah.
Exactly. We've got to take a break, but I want to hear a lot more about this, and I know our viewers want to hear. I know there are interesting aspects about the sustainable elements of this project, the fact that you've created some things like the rock climbing thing I want to talk about. So many things. I think it's a tremendous asset to North Central Florida. Again, you are watching Meldon Law and Friends, a weekly podcast brought to you by Meldon Law, a statewide law firm. Take a look at our website at www.meldonlaw.com, or you can give us a call anytime, toll free, statewide, nationwide at 1-800-373-8000. You'll probably talk to either this guy or that guy. We handle personal injury cases, auto truck cases, pedestrian crashes. We also do criminal defense, including DUI. Carey is an expert on that. And we'll be right back after this message.
The Meldon Law Firm from the beginning has been built on giving back to the community. I enjoy coming to work as much today as I did in 1971 when I opened my practice. I don't look at this as a job. I look at it as serving other people. While we're alive, what better feeling can you achieve than knowing that you've helped other people and thereby you enrich your own life?
Our motto is, Meldon Law, you matter most. We can never repair a missing arm, or we can never undo being charged with a DUI. What we can do is help you get back on your feet. You're not just another client to us. And it may be a long road, it may be a difficult road, but we won't stop until we find as much justice as we can.
Hello and welcome back to today's edition of Meldon Law and Friends. Today is Friday, the 19th day of 2021. And my name is Chris Qualman, co-host of the show, along with Jeffrey Meldon, Carey Meldon, the partners, managers of Meldon Law, a statewide firm with its primary office in Gainesville and also with offices covering the entire South Florida area and covering us all the way up through Marion County, where we've been now for 45 years. I've been saying 26, but you corrected me on that on the radio show this week.
I remember handling cases there in the 1970s.
Okay.
So, and, you know, we've been there for a long time, and we're really excited about moving forward on our new office in Ocala. I would say about 30 days or so. The signs went up this past week on the building, and things are really moving fast.
And we're right on 441 across from the hospital, and you really can't miss it.
We're there.
We're there. We have great guests. We want to get right back to him. Mitch Glaeser, entrepreneur, driving force behind the San Velasco Tech City. Why don't we talk a little bit about what was the inspiration for that, and when did you actually get building, and how did it physically get started?
So we talked a little bit about Rich Glaeser and kind of got off on tangents and different things, but which I naturally do, unfortunately. So we decided that we wanted to focus on entrepreneurship, and we recognize a lot of emerging companies were actually leaving our area. And so we felt like, hey, too many folks are going down to Tampa and some of these other more regional, districts, if you will. And we were losing the opportunity of keeping them here. And so if I can take you back to my oldest brother, who graduated first class of computer sciences through the College of Engineering at the University of Florida in the 70s, and didn't have like an innovation hub. He didn't have an ecosystem that was warm and welcoming and, hey, stay here, stay home. In fact, Gainesville at the time was opposite of that. It was like, no, you've graduated, you must leave the nest. It's time to move on. So there was a lot of ushering of out of the area, out of the county, and kind of that anti-business climate, which doesn't exist today, which is very fortunate for us. And so we were like, hey, what can we do to keep these companies here? Keep, really bright ideas and great people and keep families together. So, my brother went out to Silicon Valley and to Cupertino and started his company, and he's still there today. And so we have, you just learned, we lost my father, a month ago. He wasn't even here for his death, right? And so, and of course, traveling and so forth with COVID has been extremely difficult. So with that, we said, look, let's do something that does not exist. And so we bought the properties, 82 acres. It's actually 4 transactions. And the city of Alachua has been extremely embracing and has ushered in what I would call give us the playbook, and we live by it. And they've been very helpful in helping us navigate a very thick code.
Who are some of the tenants you have out there?
So we have Fracture, which of course is an amazing company, and their revenues are just going off the chart. I mean, they
do the pictures and it's amazing. You send in your picture online, and the next thing you know, you get this beautiful piece of artwork. It's a frame, and
it's on a piece of glass.
But they're growing like crazy,
and
right?
It's over the moon. It's unbelievable, and they have. So we're actually currently negotiating on some additional space for them, actually. So they're already within 24 months outgrowing their 30,000 square feet. It's incredible. So they've got a lot of runway in there, but we're currently doing that. So we're getting ready to pop up another 60,000 square feet. So we put in 60,000. We're full. We have the launch pad with a half a dozen companies in there. We have everything from accounting services, HR services. We have a Claricon, which is a biotech company that has skin solutions for large animals primarily, also some human stuff. We have a production company, Lex Shelton, who worked on the movie The Legend of Cocaine Island that's on Netflix.
I saw that.
Yeah, it was a great movie. So there's a lot of local content creators out there. There's Collective & Co., which is doing a myriad of creative types of things, from websites and a lot of creation of like music videos for singers, even local ones. They did a short film that got picked up. So there's been a full film, and Tech City was actually used as the area that was all filmed at. So
now, I got to ask you a question. Okay, the buildings you're building now are mostly
It's-
like horizontal.
Yeah.
Now, isn't there a tower or something in the works?
So we did have a contest with the the College of Architecture at the University of Florida, and so we had a design contest. There were 6 teams, and Rich and I put up the prize money for that. So there was one selected that's actually on display at San Francisco Tech City. It would be the world's tallest indoor rock climbing gym. So
Okay.
the building itself is 200 feet tall, which would of course be the tallest building between Jacksonville and Orlando. We had a health and fitness club, a local, Joe Cerulli and I were actually going to go out to Colorado last March. And of course, COVID hit. And so we were looking at the potential of a health and fitness club combined with rock climbing components as well. The actual indoor rock climbing portion would only be 2 lanes. And it would attract people from Atlanta to Miami on the weekends. And it would be similar to like doing a marathon. So you would monetize it in the sense that you would get a plaque and a picture of your time and those kinds of things. There could be competitions, and there's going to be speed walls, which speed wall is a new event that's going to be in the Olympics now. And when you see it, you're going to be blown away.
So
Because
are we going to see Mitch Glaeser on this climbing up the wall?
no.
Now, but this building would have office space. in it,
Yeah,
right?
so it has we've talked to, early stages talking about a restaurant at the very, very top. And then the platform would have, vistas and be able to have activities up there. It also have a zip line off the corner. So you have to, have to figure that out as well. But no, there's a bike shop. We had kind of in early discussions with them. So you could rent a bike, you could store your bike, or get bikes fixed, or even buy one, because we're connected to the 7,200 acre hammock of the San Francisco hammock. Okay, so you have this amazing playground with 30 miles of bike trails.
Wow.
And on any given weekend, some weekends during the year, there's over 600 bicyclists out there. So it's an asset like nobody has. And so we're adjacent to it. And it's just an amazing component, because look, the Gen Zs, Xs, and millennials, they're experiential, right? We all know everything's moved to experiential kinds of things that we're doing. I don't care if you go buy a hamburger somewhere. It's the experience of it, right? So rock climbing and traveling and all these things, when we were kids, traveling wasn't as simple and as embraced as it is now. I mean, there are people who will jump a plane in a heartbeat, and they'll go to, they'll go to, some foreign town.
This guy, Exhibit A.
Yeah, Exhibit A.
Yeah, Carey. So, Carey, tell Mitch, you grew up in the hammock.
I was born and raised in the hammock, which abutted another area of San Francisco.
Right, sure,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And it was a wonderful childhood, and
Yeah.
it was a great place to grow up with amazing nature. And
Yeah.
I can tell the listeners out there that this is going to be incredible. If they have the opportunity to have the vistas
Yeah.
of the San Francisco
yeah.
bike trails, it's going to be worth going to for that itself.
Yeah. So that's on the table. That's a big lift. That's a big, challenge. We just signed a brewery, not in the rock climbing tower, but within Tech City. So we're starting construction of our project on the next 60,000 square feet. We're currently signing additional leases there. We have, Chapters Health Services is about to move in. We have really cool, a local group, very talented folks. It's called Nova Approach Spine. So it's a new spine technology that actually is inserted through the belly button. It's a patented technology, and it is going to take that. And more people get back surgery than you realize.
Oh, we know.
Yeah, so
We know that.
yeah,
We're in the
right.
personal
That's true.
injury.
Yeah. So Nova Approach Spine has located their offices out at San Francisco Tech City as well. They just opened about a month ago. It's
Now,
a beautiful
there was
facility.
a Nova Bone that did something with dental.
So Nova Bone's across the street. That's
Okay.
a whole separate facility and a separate company. And they've
Okay.
been there for about 10 years.
Okay.
So
Let me ask you this. I know that you've made a big point of the fact that much of what you do is sustainable.
Yep.
There's a big sustainability element. So why don't you
Yeah.
explain that for our viewers and listeners?
So as I had expressed earlier, so 270,000 square feet of what we call tech space, and that's multi-use. It can be, virtually for just about anything except industrial use. light manufacturing and medical, and wet labs and all of these different things, again, to take products to market. 252 homes, a cafe, a preschool. There's the breweries coming. So we won't have a Publix in there, but there's going to be all kinds of stuff. You'll see a pocket bar show up. So one person was talking about renting space from us, having their daily business, and then doing a pocket bar, which is just a small area, that you just open up from like 4 to 6. So all the locals will come there and just kind of hang out and then go home or do whatever. So it has a lot of fluidity to it. But what's really cool about the sustainability is if you come out there, there's these 5 enormous solar trees out front, okay? And those solar trees are tied into our system. Wow. And then we have the world's largest bifacial solar array, okay? And what that means is the single piece of glass that's typically your solar panel, okay, has a solar panel embedded on the bottom and the top. And so this promenade is 25, 30 feet off the ground. It actually collects the bounce of the ray off the earth side. So we get about 120 to 130% of energy per square foot. Because what you find is a typical building, you have your typical footprint, will not provide enough energy for the footprint underneath it. So your home can't really have enough solar typically to provide for your home and your business and so forth. So we had to go and do additional technology to say, how can we capture the most available? And bifacial is one of the ways. It's not a cheap route, but it is sustainable. So we're 1 meter on the whole place, and it's fully powered by solar. So during the day we send it out, to the energy company, and then at night we take it back and we zero it out. But we're talking 6 to 7 megawatts of power, and we're talking, $15 million investment.
So where can our viewers and listeners go? Do you have a website? Where would be the best place for them to get more information about the San Velasco Tech City?
So if they go to info@egcompanies.com is really the parent company. You can also look us up on Facebook. You can find us on, there's a myriad of ways. All you have to do is type us into your Google bar and you'll find many different ways. Feel free to contact me directly at mitch@glaeseronline.com.
We'll put a graphic up. Okay. Is there a phone number where people can call?
You can directly call me on my cell phone, which is 352-538-0072.
I'm going to ask you one last question. We got to go to a break in just a minute. Quickly, what advice would you give to a young entrepreneur? Somebody coming right out of school saying, I want to be like you. Anything quick you'd say to them?
Immediately get yourself a good mentor. You've got to get through the humps and bumps quicker, because we did not have those resources when we were younger, okay? And they're out there now. So a mentor, and then be willing to take the challenge on. Perseverance is the number one thing. Perseverance is the key behind success. You have to just keep going. But listen to a great mentor, and also be able to pivot, morph, and really adapt your concept, because sometimes you just have to do that.
Okay. Mitch, this has been terrific, and your project, I know, is already doing great things for the Alachua County area and for North Central Florida. We'd like to stay in touch, bring you back perhaps in a couple of months and get more of an update. And I'm certainly interested in the rock climbing aspect. Yeah. Not that I'm back when I was 16, I was a decent rock climber.
We can use you as a counterweight.
All right.
I'm excited about Tech City. I think that it's innovative, and I assume that people will be able to live and work on the property. And that's part of the concept.
That is the concept.
All right, gentlemen, we have to take a break. Again, you are watching Meldon Law and Friends, a weekly podcast brought to you by Meldon Law. It's also on many audio platforms as well, on Google Music, so many others, 39 platforms altogether. Whatever your favorite audio platform is, chances are we're on there. Take a look at us on the World Wide Web, www.meldonlaw.com, or give us a call anytime toll free at 1-800-373-8000. Mitch, thanks again.
Thank you.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you, Mitch. Appreciate it.
Have a great day, everybody.
I was driving behind a lady, and very suddenly she moved out of the way. There was a log laying in the road, and when I hit my brakes, I went on top of the log. I had 280 discs. I just haven't been the same since. Jeffrey Meldon fought for me all the way. Him and his team really went there for me. Throughout the whole lawsuit, he made sure that my bills was paid. It was never no whenever I called him and asked him for something.
Being a client at Meldon Law was special because I felt like I was really being listened to and I felt welcome by the entire staff. If I were in a situation where I needed legal advice and help, I would absolutely reach out to Jeffrey because his reputation alone speaks for itself. But on a personal level, I know that he would take care of me and help me solve those problems, and I would feel safe with him.
Hello and welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. Today is Friday, February 19th, 2021. My name is Chris Qualman, joined by Jeffrey Meldon, president and founder of Meldon Law, Carey Meldon, partner in the firm, managing attorney for the Fort Lauderdale office. Take a look at the website, www.meldonlaw.com, or give us a call anytime, toll free at 1-800-373-8000. Our primary practice areas are personal injury cases, big truck, auto, pedestrian, trip and fall cases, as well as criminal defense and DUI. But whatever your case may be, give us a call. Jeffrey and Carey will do our best to steer you in the right direction. But we've still got tickets left, Jeffrey. We talked about it in the first segment for the baseball games this weekend, the huge triple header. Gators play later today, first game of the year against University of Miami at the brand new gorgeous stadium here in Gainesville. And then we've got tickets left for Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, we're really excited. Today at 3 o'clock, the Gators open up against the University of Miami. The first game ever played in the new stadium, and it's a 3-game series, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we at Meldon Law are giving away 4 tickets to the game on Saturday at 1 o'clock, plus a $100 gift certificate to the Cheesecake Factory.
All right, and you still have time to register for this contest.
Well, wait. Forgot about Sunday.
That's right. We have 2 tickets for Sunday as well. So 6 tickets altogether, 4 for Saturday, 2 for Sunday. And Carey, I think all they have to do is just go to the Meldon Law Facebook page. This is a Facebook promotion only, right?
That's correct. Go to Facebook, look up Meldon Law, and you can sign up for your tickets to the baseball Gator game this year, where our number 1 Florida Gators will be taking on the Miami Hurricanes.
Yeah, we have an incredible team. This is the number 1 team unanimously in the country, and I would dare to say a dozen players from this team will be picked in the Major League Draft.
Correct. And these tickets are very difficult to get. So if you get an opportunity to go, you should definitely go. And when you come to the game with our tickets, you also get gift certificates to the Cheesecake Factory, $100 for Saturday for 4 people, and $50 on Sunday for the 2 tickets to the game. So it should be a great experience, and it should be an amazing stadium as well.
I think you'll probably see some players from that Miami team going to the pros too. That's always been a great rivalry. You know, we had Jeff Cardozo, the voice of the Gator baseball team, on last week talking about that, breaking down the different players. If you want to see that, you still can do that. Go to the Meldon Law Facebook page or go to our YouTube page and you can watch that episode. And he breaks down the entire squad and the entire game. But real quick, before we get to our next guest, we will be doing tickets going forward still for the volleyball games, the Gator volleyball games, as well as gymnastics. But that will strictly be a website-only promotion, correct?
Yeah, meldonlaw.com for gymnastic tickets as well as tickets for volleyball. Now, tonight at 6:45, the number 1 Gator gymnastic team takes on Kentucky, and that's going to be a huge event as well.
Yeah.
I mean, last week, the Lady Gators played an incredible match and wound up winning. They're undefeated. They're beating the best teams in the country.
It's really incredible. You know, we've had coaches on here for it's our 16th episode, right?
I think 17.
17. All right, whatever it is. We've had a lot of coaches on, and we've been certainly talking with great pride about the Gator teams. But let's get right to our guest, who has quite a history in UF athletics as well, and certainly is a well-known entrepreneur. Carey, I'm going to let you introduce our guest.
Well, we've got former Gator legend Svein Dyrkolbotn. Can you pronounce it for the audience here in the correct Norwegian
No
way?
problem. It's Svein Dyrkolbotn.
Svein Dyrkolbotn. And
I'm not even going to try.
Svein's a friend of mine, but he's also developing probably the most impressive complex in North Central Florida called Celebration Pointe. We're very lucky to have him in Gainesville, and he's developing this incredible complex, which is he's already been doing it for years, and it's getting better and better. So can you tell us a little bit about what's going on in the upcoming year over at and tell the audience about Celebration Pointe, what it is.
No problem. Celebration Pointe is almost a 2 million square foot mixed-use development. It started many, many years ago when the county had a vision to create a place where people could live and play and work all in one place. It was primarily driven by transportation issues in the county. And long story short, I went in to build some apartments and I ended up building a city. So, but it was all based on that they are willing to give a lot of entitlements up if you do the right type of development pattern. So in 2016, we opened up Bass Pro Shops, which was our anchor. It's about an 82,000 square foot outdoor, fishing and hunting, store. In 2018, we opened up Regal Cinema as a 10-screen luxury theater alongside some retailers like Kilwins, Chocolates, and Nike, and Tommy Hilfiger. Eventually, we got Medici, and now we're venturing into a celebrity restaurant with Coach Spurrier and many others. So it's really turning into a place where people can gather, be safe, enjoy the many venues
So I had an opportunity to go to Spurrier's Gridiron Grille last week as a preview of the restaurant. Right. And I can tell you right now, I think it's probably the coolest restaurant I've ever set foot in. And I think it's going to be a game changer when it comes to Gainesville. Can you explain a little bit more about this restaurant? Because it's not really a restaurant, it's more than that.
Yeah, it's really a restaurant. It's also a museum for Coach Spurrier for him to display many of his trophies and accomplishments and memorabilia over the years that he's collected. Obviously, he's a celebrity in this town, and when we started listening to his vision about this restaurant, it got quite large. I think it's about 18,000 square feet. One day we sat there and said, hey, we need a rooftop bar. Well, that's a great place to have events, and we feel this is going to be a place where many firms can come and have their Christmas parties and,
that's a great idea.
Meetings. And
Yeah, we've already talked about that in our Scholar Athlete of the Year banquet. We might have to fit in there.
Correct.
I want to, ask you a couple questions, like, did you have anything to do with being able to build that bridge over I-75?
I had everything to do with that. So
tell us the story. How did that happen?
This is a project that's been on the drawing board since, mid-2000, 2006, 2007. And one of the challenges we had was access to the property. It was kind of tucked behind north of Archer Road. And we sat there one day and said, well, why don't we just build a bridge over I-75 and connect into, at that point, Clark Butler's, second phase of Butler Plaza. And we put it on a little engineering map and started working on it. And, 5 years later, we started construction on it. So
did the state work with you as far as designing or at least giving you permission to build it?
Yeah, it was really a collaboration of, our project is in Alachua County limits, and Butler Plaza was in the city, and then you had the state of Florida involved as well. So it was actually funded through a private state infrastructure funding through the DOT, and it really was a huge reliever of the intersection of Archer Road and I-75, which is why everyone was working together on it. So.
Well, I was really impressed with that. We were talking earlier, in 1994, you went to the Final Four in Charlotte, right?
Yep, that's
and you
correct.
were playing for the great coach, Lon Kruger.
Yep.
And that was the first time the Gators ever went to a Final Four. and Carey and I went up there for a father-son trip, and saw you play there. Why don't you just talk a little bit about your experience as a Florida Gator basketball player? Because that's when I first remember hearing your name.
Yeah, so I was part of Lon Kruger's freshman class with Andrew DeClerc and Dan Cross. So, we came in and played. And our junior year, our junior year, we've had a couple of great trips as a team where we really bonded. We were able to go to Australia. We were able to go to Hawaii, which we are great experiences. And we really bonded. And that team just had a chemistry that was amazing. And I think a lot of teams miss that today, where everyone is unselfish and can play together. And I think, that propelled us through, the NCAA tournament. And we had a little bit of fortune down in Miami when Connecticut, at the end of the game,
Daniel Marshall
missed a couple of free throws.
Right.
There you go.
Sent us into overtime. And I think it was, Craig Brown and Andrew DeClerc that finished that overtime off. But, the experience going to Charlotte was amazing. I mean, it's something that...
And you actually had Duke, who was favored to win on the ropes for a while in that game, right?
Yeah. And, we were up at 10 in the second half. And then, after a timeout, I think Grant Hill took over a little bit. And I
wish he had brought that to the Orlando Magic.
And I remember Dan Cross kind of, huddling Andrew DeClerc and I on the court and say, why don't you guys stop him? You got to stop him. And we're like, after the game, it was it was a little hard when he did a, jumper off the baseline when he jumped backwards 5 feet. And, it was it's a little challenging.
It's really interesting. The Lon Kruger's had so much success since then. I mean, I remember that as a fan. I just could not believe that our Gators, after all those years of really not being so competitive, all of a sudden we're in the Final Four that year. And unfortunately, he didn't stay too much longer after that. But he's, I think, now in his 6th NCAA team that he's going to take to the tournament with Oklahoma. So he's obviously a pretty amazing coach.
He is, and I thank him for a lot of things he'd done for that team back then. But he has a way to pull folks together and get them to like each other, work as a team versus many times individuals like to.
So what took you from, elite college NCAA Final Four basketball player to what you're doing now as an entrepreneur?
So at the end of my career, I started having some small injuries, and I came to Gainesville and stayed with a wonderful family out in Newberry, and they encouraged me to finish my degree. So I spent the 5th year and graduated as a civil engineer, which is what my host dad was, and I started working for them in construction and development business. That was what they were doing, and 8 years later, I decided to go out on my own and start my own career, and I started building around the University of Florida, during the condo days, and it took off. And Celebration Pointe were going to be my first large apartment project, in the 200 to 300 units, and it, fast forward, it turned out a little different.
So is that apartment complex you finished?
No, it was actually the vision I had early on was what I had done all my career was building apartments, and then Celebration Pointe turned into be a large-scale mixed-use project. So it's going to have almost 1,000 apartments in it when it's fully built out.
Okay.
Originally, it was intended to be like 600 or 700 apartments.
Yeah, I've been out there many times, and it's amazing. Every time I go out there, there's something new happening.
Right. Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you a little bit about the big arena that's going to be built there.
Yeah.
I have an idea. Let's hold off on that. We're about to take a break. Our producer is nodding to me, but that is a great topic I want to address. We talked about that on the program a couple of episodes ago, so that's a great idea. We'll come right back after the break. Again, you are watching Meldon Law and Friends, a weekly podcast of Meldon Law, based primarily in Gainesville, but we also have a full-time staffed office run by that man, Carey Meldon, covering the entire South Florida area from Miami-Dade through Broward through Palm Beach County. And we also have, in our 45th year, an office in Ocala in Marion County, a brand new office we're about to open, in fact. So you'll be hearing a lot more about that in the weeks to come. Today is Friday, the 19th day of February. We will be right back.
I've done mornings here on Sky Radio for 17 years. Jeffrey Meldon started doing his weekend show here 16 years ago. One of the things that separates Jeffrey is I don't see him out there hollering for people's business. I see him out there investing in the community. He's touched a lot of lives, and a lot of it he'll never know what a difference he made in somebody's life about information that he has shared on the air.
It's important to hire the right attorney, not the cheapest attorney, and here's why. DUIs carry with them mandatory penalties that will follow you for years and years and years. Meldon Law has been representing people charged with DUI in the state of Florida for over 40 years. If you've been arrested for DUI, you can call us at Meldon Law at 1-800-373-8000.
Hello and welcome back to today's episode, Friday, the 19th day of 2021 of Meldon Law and Friends. My name is Chris Qualman, one of the hosts of this show, along with Carey Meldon and Jeffrey Meldon. Take a look at our website, www.meldonlaw.com, for more information about our practice areas, which primarily involve personal injury law as well as criminal defense law and DUI. Today we have as our guest Svein, I'm not even going to try to say the last name.
Dyrkolbotn.
Oh, there you go.
Very good.
Who has been, he is the driving force behind Celebration Pointe in Gainesville. And Svein, you and Jeffrey were talking before the break about this new multi-use, large-scale seating facility. I don't know what else to call it, but why don't you take it from there?
And this is out at Celebration Pointe.
Correct.
So tell us about it, because I was out there for the tour of Spurrier's, and they said, over there, that's where this sports complex is going to be. And then I started hearing about all the things it can be used for, and it just blew my mind. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, we're still out for the naming of it, but it's something like a North Florida regional sports complex.
Wow.
But it's really a project that got kind of kickstarted by the county back when the O'Connell Center got renovated by the University of Florida. The county used to have an indoor track and large kind of floor area and so that where they could have events that really drew tourism into Gainesville.
That's right, and they took out the track when they renovated the UF O'Connell Center.
Correct, and the retractable bleachers, some of the retractable bleachers. So they've been looking for a replacement facility for the last 3 or 4 years, and they've been searching where's the best place to put it. And there was several ideas in town, and then eventually they hired a consultant that, do this in day in and day out. And their recommendation was actually to put it in Celebration Pointe, because the most important things for these facilities is to have access to hotels and restaurants and things for the families and kids to do between the games and the weekends when they come in town. And they found that the Celebration Pointe would be a very attractive and successful place to be. So we've been working with the county for the last couple of years. Obviously, we got delayed a little with COVID. But about a month ago, they approved us as the developer, builder, and operator of the center. We're going through design right now. And the center is about 125 to 130,000 square feet. It will contain an indoor track. It will have, when the track is in session, it would have an additional 4 basketball courts to continue the youth sports during the week. But when the track season is over, we'll remove the track, and now we're going to have 13 basketball courts and 26 volleyball courts.
That's awesome.
It will also have its own cheerleading training area. It will have fitness center and some of those type of things where we can have all year around events.
It sounds like really a furtherance of the whole concept of Celebration Pointe, a family-oriented gathering, correct?
Yep. No, we're very focused on that. Safety is a big piece for us. We have 24/7 security out there to make sure our residents and businesses are are being respected, and that families that come out with kids to feel safe. The promenade or the open area in front of many of these businesses is not drivable. It's walking streets, and we have a lot of events out there. We have a couple of music venues every month. We have Jazz in the Green and a playlist at the Point where we bring musicians out there to play, and that seems to be a very popular place to hang out on those evenings.
Will this new venue be available for concerts potentially?
Yep, it will be, but concerts is kind of a tricky thing. The acoustics will be a really big expense in a big arena like this, and so I think the main focus is sports.
Now, people will be able to come for weekend events. I know that's a big deal. When Carey was a tennis player, we used to go as a family, go out of town to Orlando or Miami or Tampa and go to sport. So that's part of what's going to go on.
That is the primary focus of the facility. So the Alachua County is going to pay for it through the tourism tax. So in order to boost the tourism tax, you got to get those families in and stay in our hotels. It's actually called a bed tax. And so most of the weekends, we're going to try to draw big regional events into town. But during the week, we're going to have youth leagues and different things that engage the local community. But yeah, the primary purpose is to draw those events in, which they lost back when the O'Connell Center got
Yeah, that's really exciting. I mean,
yeah.
You bring in, hundreds and hundreds of families for those events, and it's really exciting, and they get to come to Gainesville and stay here, spend some money here, and have a good time.
So tell the listeners a little bit about this hotel. This is a relatively new hotel that you built in Celebration Point.
Yeah, so the brand we picked was Hotel Indigo. It's kind of a boutique hotel. It's 140 rooms. They pride themselves in coming into a community, and a lot of the design and art in the rooms, they tailor to kind of local folks. So you'll see some Tom Petty art in there and guitars and those type of things.
But it truly makes it a destination.
Correct.
Instead of just a place where you go visit.
Yeah, so the goal is to have a hotel like that where people can come and park their car and go to the restaurants and enjoy, and it's a short stroll. So
I wanted to circle back a little bit to the Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, because like Carey mentioned during the first segment, we were fortunate to get a full behind-the-scenes tour, and what amazed me is the attention to detail on all aspects of the operation. It was explained to us, for example, as we went into the kitchen, how there was so much attention paid to the flooring so that it wouldn't be as much wear and tear on the employees. But the menu, the fact that there was so much research, so much spent on consultants to advise on the right types of things. And what I'm building to is that this is not just a sports bar. This is something far more than that, with farm-to-table food, outstanding menu, excellent opportunity for everybody.
No, I think when you have a icon like Coach Spurrier involved, you want to strive for excellence in every part of that restaurant, and I think that's the vision we had, and that's the direction we took. And Coach Spurrier has been part of some of the design meetings and had some input in the restaurant, and it's been a fun process for me because I remember when Coach was at Florida when I played, and
that was about that time, sure, yeah.
So it's been special, and I think for the project as a whole, when this sports complex comes in with my background and Coach's background there, I think we can do a lot of good in the community for youth and sports, in addition to for it to be a very big economic, boost for the community.
I think it's going to be great. We'll have a place where we can take recruits, right, and show them a little bit about the Gator history and what Spurrier did over the years for Florida football, and it's going to be a fun place to go. I know I'll be out there watching.
That's for sure.
Watching both college and pro football as well as other sports. So it's really something that we're excited about, and we hope that I think we're looking at an opening sometime at the end of May or the beginning of June on it, right?
Yep, that's for the restaurant, and for the sports facility, that'll be the end of 2022. That's what we're targeting.
Great.
Well,
Well,
I
not too
can't
far
wait
out.
for that.
Let's talk about some upcoming events. I know you've obviously, with COVID, have had challenges, but you still have events. Like you said, there's music in the promenade. Tell our viewers and listeners a little bit about upcoming events.
So we have, like I mentioned earlier, Jazz on the Green happens every 2 weeks, and Playlist on the Point happens every 2 weeks. We have events every Thursday. We have a cornhole tournament out there.
That's fun. I was there last Thursday. I saw it was packed, and people were having a good time.
So we're doing some stuff for Mommy and Me events that's being planned. But that's really the vision behind the whole project, is that people can sit at home and what are we going to do tonight? And let's go to Celebration Pointe, because it's always something to find. Always a good restaurant, always a good venue.
People are asking about the movie theater, and people were asking about it during our tour of Spurrier's Gridiron Grille. It's going to be back.
Yep.
Correct?
It's coming back.
We need to make movies first.
I mean, I loved going there. I mean, my attitude is just the experience of sitting in a comfortable theater. That's the big thing for me, is that if the chairs are big enough and you can get food, you can sit back and relax. I got to admit, I think I fell asleep once because those chairs are so comfortable, but it'll be back.
It will be back. I mean, the movie industry, have a challenge now, and the biggest challenge is not having enough product to show, to attract, enough viewers to stay open. And it's not just a local issue; it's a national issue, maybe a worldwide issue. So. But what we're being told is that shortly we should have an announcement on when they're going to open. But it's very much tied to the vaccines and the progress there. It's hard to do social distancing in theaters.
True.
And the product needs to come out. So.
Well, I'm really excited about everything that you've been working on at Celebration Pointe. I think it's going to become, the go-to area as far as people going for a great fun time, right? You got restaurants out there. There's going to be the sports arena. You're going to have all the walking areas, a great theater complex, hotels.
There's retail. There's the Bass Pro Shops. There's the Nike Outlet.
Skechers, my favorite shoe brand.
A lot of you can do everything out there.
And recently we opened Dave & Buster's, which is a big.
We
place,
were there.
We went there, and it's kind of like a Chuck E. Cheese for adults.
Yeah,
Food's better. Okay, Chuck E. Cheese, they just have pizza and salad. I've chased many a child through those catacombs. Another story, another day. We've only got a couple of minutes, but and again, terrific episode. I mean, so much wonderful stuff you're doing for the community. Where can people find out about it? Is there a website for both Celebration Pointe and for the Gridiron Grille?
It's celebrationpointe.com, and I think if you go on there, you find links to most of our businesses in the project. Again, it's a place where we want to encourage people to come out and hang out. There's many things you can do, and we try to make it as comfortable a place as we can. One key to us again is that people can let their kids loose and run around. So safety is a big thing, and don't forget the open container ordinance that we got.
Oh yeah, you can drink out there.
We were able to get that approved to the state of Florida, where you can actually buy beer and carry it around in that walking area and enjoy. So that's an added benefit. So.
Okay. Well, Svein, thank you so much. And, as a lifelong Gator fan, I thank you for all the great things you did as a player, and excited for all that you're doing now as a vital member of the Gainesville, North Central Florida community. Again, you have been watching today's episode of Meldon Law and Friends, a service of Meldon Law, statewide law firm with its primary office in Gainesville, also covering really the entire state. South Florida, we have a full-time office covering the Tri-County area, Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County. We have an office in Ocala, Marion County. And Jeffrey, I'll tell you what, when we started this almost 3 months ago, we didn't know what direction it would go, but it's been a heck of a ride.
Actually, it's 4 months ago.
Can't tell when you're having so much fun.
No, I think we're on episode 17. So
All right,
17 weeks. I think we're.
I got a big
rocking
week
with-
coming ahead of me, so
I
it's hard to
know.
tell. They all
But
kinda
anyhow,
blend.
it's really great. Thank you for watching, listening to the show, and we're going to keep it up with more great guests on Meldon Law and Friends.
And we're going to have some people from South Florida, right, Carey?
Absolutely. We're going to have all kinds of people, and I'm excited to be here. Svein, thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you for having
All
me.
right,
on your
don't
show.
forget, go to the Meldon Law Facebook page to register for the baseball tickets that are still available for this weekend's Saturday and Sunday games. There's no catch. All you have to do is go on the Meldon Law Facebook page. We have 4 tickets still for the Saturday game, 2 tickets for the Sunday game. We have gift certificates for the Cheesecake Factory. You can't beat it. 6 p.m. deadline. 6 p.m. deadline today on Friday the 19th. So beyond 6 p.m., you're going to have to wait for the next promotion. We've got tickets we'll be doing for all Gator sports, right, Jeffrey? Including
Yes.
volleyball, everything.
So we're very excited, and all I can say is, go Gators!
Catch you next week.